Yeah, well, this is much better. We're live. So people are like seeing me just like mess around.
Oh, we're live yet?
Yeah, we're live. Look, there's 32 people watching this.
Oh.
I can retweet it.
Look, you guys are awesome. Oh, Frank disappeared. Yeah, let me retweet it too.
I had also before issues with disconnects. First audio, then video. Now I use Chrome.
I mean, I've noticed. Yeah, anytime I use video calling, I just switch to Chrome. I'm normally on Firefox, but it just tends to just always work a little bit better.
I have to reboot my computer every time I want to use my camera.
Shit. It's well, I'm using the Canon utility now, and it doesn't work in Discord or any of the native apps. So like I can go to Discord on Chrome and then it works. I'm drinking this one today. I didn't really see.
Oh, see, you have been drinking.
No, I'm going to drink right now.
Oh.
It's an IPA. I don't know which brand.
I'm old school.
Coffee. Tea, nice.
Tea.
There you go. Oh man.
No, not the new camera yet, Zach. Tomorrow we'll be in.
That's what we do today, Bram. So we have like a before and an after shot.
I need to order a light stripe for the conference in the background for a better lighting. And the camera in the front.
Bram, we have like all blue and stuff.
What? The blue light?
Yeah.
Yeah, fancy, right?
Well, except for that one white light exactly behind your ear.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to move it. Wait, I'll move.
Change it to purple. That's hot.
Okay.
True. No, I would do kind of a pink. You have a blue, pink, purple kind of glow.
Right. I wanted to ask, did
but
we tweet it?
The problem is the wall is blue, so if I make it pink, it looks weird.
Where's your bike?
Gone.
Oh man, why are we here actually? By the way, what's the the chat is already running.
Yeah, now it's pink, but you don't even see the pink glow.
Oh,
there you go.
Purple.
I take here.
Oh man, all these expectations of us that we're gonna have like a great show, guys.
I had no time to install the new release. I was just busy to take the kids all to bed.
Did something change from nightly?
I don't update during the stream because if some things breaks, I have an angry wife.
Well, we all want to see that happening. Come on.
Do it.
Do it.
I hope she isn't on the stream.
Let's see. Boom, boom. Look, I'm gonna. Ian came here just to watch people drink. So cheers, Ian. This is for you.
Right, you succeeded. Would love to see you break HA and fix it with the whole team.
I mean, I do that during the day, constant, non-stop. Like,
break it.
Break it for sure.
Fix it? No.
That's why I use Home Assistant OS, because I don't want to spend my free time for hacking Home Assistant.
You kind of failed in that, you know that, right? Like, you're building the thing.
Yeah, no.
Which is
I have the benefit. I can use it for my parents and for my brother. So instead to manage 3 installation, I just manage the base installation and can just click update, or they can click update by themselves.
Right,
Well,
that's the
do they
reason
ever
why
click update by themselves? Like I manage my parents' installation and they never update.
Yeah. My parents too. My brother not, but my parents, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good test system, by the way.
Get a personal access token to their instance, set up a script in your instance so you can remotely update.
I mean, I just use Home Assistant Cloud to log in from time to time, press update.
I love
Or
exactly.
When they
I love
sleep.
I love the remote user interface. Make it easy to manage all the instance.
Yeah.
that's true. That's helpful.
So
I've not installed one yet in my parents' home. I'm not sure if I should.
well, you know that if it breaks, they will constantly call you right up.
Yeah, so nothing changes, but yeah, sure. But
right. I mean, I always have the approach of like, don't give people things if you don't want to fix it for them when it breaks. Right? If they don't have smart lights, it cannot break either. If you don't give them TP-Link Casa switches, right, then they don't break when they do a firmware update.
right.
I saw a tweet actually that somebody is figured out that they actually changed the protocol, so they it might be that we can reclaim local access. So,
Yeah, there's a new encryption on it. I saw. I read something too.
right.
Should be possible, maybe.
Yeah, if somebody cracks it. But I mean, I'm assuming that the private key is just inside the Android app, as it always is. So, okay. So I think first step on this release party, we should explain who Joachim is. I don't think people.
Is that needed? I'll just change my name here instead.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There you go. Yes. Joachim is the brains behind the Home Assistant community store. Yeah. All right, 118. What's new? Let's see, Bram. What is your favorite feature of this release?
The grid card.
Oh,
for me.
That's what I was gonna say.
Can
you explain the grid card?
Yeah, the grid card is like a grid. Then you can place cards in, like horizontal and vertical stacks combined to create a grid. But then without all the hassle of creating horizontal and vertical stacks. So you just select a couple of cards and it will automatically place them in a nice grid. Default 3 columns, but you can adjust that if you want to. And it will try to make the card square, so it will look really, really nice.
I updated a few of the grids in the demo. Like the demo had like some combination of horizontal and vertical stacks, and you just didn't see the difference. It was just so much more simpler to configure.
Yeah, really cool.
Right. One feature I really like is the quick bar navigation and how it is continuing to evolve. Like every release, there's just a cool new feature.
Well, I really like the quick bar. It's so freaking fast. Like to jump into something, like into your entities. That's really nice. And I've been using the navigation the past days. Like it's golden. I hope they actually would add something like this is much used, like that will be suggested sooner. Especially if you type something like configuration, you get quite a few results. But yeah, I agree. That's a great feature.
So don't type configuration, just type the page you want to go to.
Yeah, that's getting used to it, I guess. My brain says I need to go to the configuration. There's a lot of configuration in Home Assistant, so it's probably not a good one.
It keeps growing.
Yep.
Yeah, I use mostly VS Code for edit the configuration. So I use the reload the configuration from VS Code. But
yeah, for me, I think the quick bar is just going to be so much more cooler. Like, I mean, there's just going to be so many more new features we can still add to it. So I think one of the things I've been hoping somebody's going to add is the template evaluation. So you can just type in a template and you see the results right from the quick bar without having to like open the dev tool, which will be really neat to like quickly like check out of something, like what is the state of something. You can just like, or whatever, do some calculations.
There's a PR open for that.
Oh, there is?
Yep.
Perfect. Just in time.
You gotta get that Google experience, right? That you type in like a calculation, and you will see it like instantly in your Google and your search result. Like that would be like the same experience with templates, right? That's the idea then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to type it inside of inside the quick bar. Now the PR that's open right now is a separate dialog that shows the template DevTools.
Okay, well I'll have to comment on that one. No, because then it doesn't have that much value. Like, I guess it's nice that you can evaluate something without task switching, right? Being able to have template or state DevTools open while having your automation editor open, for example. But I think we should solve that in a better way. I think me and Bram once talked about like a right sidebar, where on the right you could like quickly open different entities, check their states, or these kind of things.
I really like, because the configuration panel is growing over the time, and with a jump, with a quick bar, you can faster jump to that what you want. It's to scroll during the configuration panel.
Yeah, I think for power.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, for power users, it's going to be a lot faster. You had an interesting question?
Yeah, I saw a nice question, like
Helmet. Yeah.
I like
that's
that.
an interesting idea.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, just the whole conversation should be triggerable from that bar as well.
So we can use it in a Telegram. Easier for a Telegram bot.
Or just a different hotkey. Like, I don't know, like C is already taken now for conversation, but as that is command. But
Mike.
Yeah, something like that. And you have to trigger a different dialog. You cannot like distinguish it from your normal input, right? But
no.
Well, if we move it D to there, we can remove it from the header again.
Maybe.
No, we cannot. The quick bar is not discoverable. So I think
we could remove the icon to go to Almond with the quick bar icon. If we move the Almond stuff inside the quick bar.
Only if it's discoverable through the UI. If it's just you have to type a special character to talk to Almond.
No. We have the button now for Almond, the microphone button in Lovelace. We could replace that with the quick bar.
Right, but we'll have to open the quick bar in Almond mode or conversation mode.
Yeah.
But otherwise, people cannot find it. They have to know what to type. It's like the long press.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I was thinking how we could solve it. But yeah.
Yeah. Here's another question that we get. Would it be possible to have the color extractor for videos? Well, we actually rely on the external tool for extracting the colors. I think it's called Color Thief. But I think we can, it should be possible to have, use YouTube DL to like download a video. But the problem is, to process a whole video is going to take a lot of time. If you take a random frame, you're not going to have the average color from that video. So, and if it's just a current picture, then you probably could already use Color Thief. Like if you have can take the current snapshot of your TV. All right, what else is new in 1.18? Native type support for templates is turned on.
Carry shit. No, I'm pretty confident now, actually. Like last release, this feature was already there, but like opt-in, so you had to enable it. Quite a few people did, and some bugs were squashed.
I think it was a funny bug. We had a funny bug where it was, if people want to specify the color for a light in hexadecimals.
Yeah, that one was cool.
And then Python would think it was like a scientific notation if it just contained numbers and the E, because the E is like for the exponent, and they got like huge numbers and nothing worked. So, but we squashed it. You can no longer use scientific notation though.
Well, not as a number output, right? But
true.
It still works. No, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool feature to have the native templates, and I'm like, especially in combination with the variables that automations now support. Like that is just like really cool and powerful. What I hope to extend in the future, or what somebody should extend, or I don't know, but at least that would be added is support for manipulating lists and dictionaries, so that if you have, for example, a list of entities, and then you have like, I don't know, a bit of templating that goes through some other entities in a group or through the persons and builds upon the existing list you already have. That would be cool. That is something that's not possible right now, so you cannot generate a list. That's mainly the issue, right? So it's not mutable. You can define a list, but you cannot generate one. That's something I would love to see being added, but that's now possible, actually. So that should be possible now.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I mean, the big problem is that we never want templates to really have side effects, right? Like once we start mutating stuff, we're starting to turn it into a programming language with all the downsides of that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a risk.
Extended anyway, the old thing a lot this year. Automation scripts.
Right. Well, I think one thing, that could be nice, if you want to get to allow to mutate lists or something, is that you could like embed Python scripts inside your actions or something, right? You could
evaluate strings.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's the problem, right? Like people want to turn our YAML, it's really powerful, and we keep being pushed more farther and further and further and further. And then eventually, like, we're just building a programming language, but the syntax is in YAML. Like, that is not very ideal. So I hope we don't go there.
Yep. I agree.
So for the next thing, I thought for the 118 is the logbook card, and to come talk about that, I brought in the author. Boom, Zach.
There he is.
Hello.
Hey, Zach.
How's it going, guys? Good to be here. I guess I was flooding the comments a little much.
Problem solved. That's cool.
So what is it that you do at Home Assistant or on Home Assistant, or what do you work on?
Mostly, I work on the front end. I do a lot of different cards, different stuff that Bram and Paulus have to tell me not to do. But overall, just trying to make the front end a little bit better every once in a while.
Awesome. And in this release, you've added the logbook card.
Yes. Yeah. So the logbook card kind of was born from the logbook changes we had a few releases ago, kind of making them a little bit more readable, a little bit more user friendly, and I was like, I think it would be very helpful if we could have this just on a security dashboard or something for, motion detected, or you can see all your events that happen security wise just on one card. So that's kind of where that was born from. I think it turned out really nicely. It's, easy to configure and easy and ready to go.
So, from a quick glance, so it's not just the whole logbook as you normally have. It's actually just showing you like specific entities, right?
Right. And so that's like the beauty of it, right? You can specify which entities you want to see in that card, so you don't have to see everything from the logbook. You're not bogged down by every little detail. It's only the entities you want, and you can do more than one, which is nice. And because in the logbook you can only filter it down to one entity right now.
Right. And I guess what we're missing right now is that we don't have events yet, right? Like we don't know if, I don't know, NetAtmo motion has been triggered or a remote button has been pressed.
Yeah, but I know that those changes are coming, and we're also working on more localization of the logbook card, or of the logbook in general. So I know a lot of features are in the pipeline, and BDraco was a big help to get to where we are right now for the logbook card and the logbook in general.
Yeah, the speed improvements has been really good in the last few releases. I don't know if people notice it, if their logbooks are that big, but it's especially for big installations. There's been a good few releases.
Yeah, it has been very nice.
You also did some work, Zach, on the header and footer editor.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
So that's something that's very nice that's coming as well, and I think that it's a big feature that a lot of people don't know about, is being able to add header and footers to different cards. I think right now it's mostly the entity card and the entities card, but the editor was added to the entities card so that you can do everything, do all the editing of the configuration right within the UI editor.
Yeah, I always thought that, like, I hardly see headers and footers in our cards in the wild inside the community, and I think it's I guess the sensor footer is the most popular one, but I wish there were more people would use like pictures as headers or something for their cards. Like we had this nice balloon example in like when we introduced it, and I thought it would like pick up more steam. So I hope I hope this is gonna help. Oh, the fire! Yeah, we had the fire also.
Yeah.
But I mean, and a lot of people may just not know what you can do with it. And I mean, for example, with room card or an area card or something like that, it would be kind of cool to use a header picture to denote that this is the living room or the bedroom or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with areas and having pictures for areas and having those automatically as header is that it's very difficult to make nice photos of your living room.
Yeah.
At least you have to like pick a nice angle, do the lighting correct, and most people don't have that knowledge to like know how to do that. And so if it doesn't look nice, they're not going to add it, I think.
Yeah, that's true. And you have to make it the right like height and width, which is important to make it.
Yeah. So, but we can play with it. Maybe some people will like it.
Yeah.
That actually makes me wonder, Zach. We should, if we have the picture header or footer, we should allow uploading a picture right in the editor.
Yeah, I
because we have that possibility now. So
that will be nice. Yeah.
We did that with the user images, right? With avatars.
Yeah, Persons has it now. So all the functionality is there. We just didn't add it to other things. As this always happens, right? We come up with a cool feature, we add it for that one specific use case that we think of when we implement the feature, and then we just move on to other stuff.
We're really good at not going back and giving it extra love at the end.
Right.
For that specific thing, I reused most of it for the snapshot uploads.
Okay, well that's good. So there's some backend reusability there. That's nice. Joachim, you wanna talk about the network stuff?
Yeah, you can do more stuff.
Yes.
So it's not available yet, but soon with the next supervisor, there's been a lot of changes to the network API that we have, which now means you can control IPv6 on all interfaces and connect to Wi-Fi networks.
Right. So I think the big use case for this is that some people want to run the Raspberry Pi on Wi-Fi. I mean, don't do it. Like, there's a lot of data being sent around from Home Assistant, so you don't want to use Wi-Fi, but some people still want to use Wi-Fi. In that case, you can now plug a cable into your Raspberry Pi, use it to configure the Wi-Fi, unplug the cable, and it still works. So that's nice. I mean, it would be nice if like the Home Assistant app with Bluetooth could like configure the Pi for Wi-Fi, but then I guess you shouldn't make it easy to do the bad thing. Like we want people to use Ethernet. So.
And if you use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi in the same time, I had a lot of lags. It's not a good idea. Use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but not both. Maybe it's also on the Raspberry Pi 4, I don't know. But on the 3, right. It was horrible.
Right, I remember the 3 being horrible. I haven't tested the 4.
But yeah, you can use the Wi-Fi as a backup now. So you can set up the Wi-Fi, and if a switch going down or something similar, then he move over to the Wi-Fi connections.
Okay. That is actually a useful feature.
Yeah.
That is very...
In general, just don't use Wi-Fi. That's actually the message. just don't. Like, sure, for your devices or something, but no, like, do not run your
server.
No, not run your home server, indeed, like your home hub on Wi-Fi. It's really like, I can understand it happens from time to time if you have no other possibility, but...
cable is all time bad.
But I mean, that it's not only for Home Assistant. It's pretty much for every device that is fixed in your house. Like your smart TV. Don't put your smart TV on Wi-Fi. Put it like a cable in it, and you'll have the best Netflix experience in the world.
Yes, it's hard for a lot of people to do that though, because of the way the houses are set up. Before, nobody has network drops unless you built a house in the last like 5 to 6, 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I run Ethernet over power line.
I have a access point with a Wave 2, so I have a gigabit on my wireless around the house and inside house. Works pretty nice. But it's for notebooks, so it's fine. But all my fixed installation are on a cable.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we just upgraded my parents' internet, and then my dad's computer was not having like the max speed, and then when we realized we installed a bad switch. And so we couldn't get past 100 megabit. It wasn't a gigabit switch because I just installed, I guess, a random switch laying around. And so finally figured he bought a new one, TP-Link. It's like, come on. Before the news came out.
Still.
Yeah.
I lost track.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the conference?
Should we talk about the conference? I'm not sure. Did we had the all release note stuff? Like I was really quickly, silently baking something to show on stream, but I missed part of like went by me. But did we have all the release notes yet?
No, actually, I haven't gone over the noteworthy changes.
I think the noteworthy change is all of the new accessibility stuff that's been into the front end. A lot of stuff being worked on and a lot of stuff being done this release, which is very nice.
Frank, could work on the release notes. I know it's sometimes really difficult to get all the details together.
Yeah, it is. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm really happy about the accessibility one. I know that Bram, like from time to time, like we get mixed feedback. Sometimes we get praise from people that are like have less eyesight. Sometimes we get like some complaints, but generally like Bram is able to like deal with it pretty well, like as in fix the complaints. I think you want to talk about how you use like the screen reader, Bram?
Yeah, I did a course from Google to learn how to deal with a screen reader, because I didn't know how to use it and what it did and how it used the various HTML tags you could use. So I started getting familiar with that, and slowly we try to improve everything in the front end to make sure everything is accessible for anyone, not just the people that can read the screen and see the icons, and also people that have limited eyesight. So like the data tables, they are virtualized, and we can't use the normal table element. So it looked fine, but for people using a screen reader, the data table was not accessible as a table. So they couldn't see how many rows there were, and they could not jump to the next row and stuff like that. So there are things we changed and made sure it.
Did I just like swap the screen? That was not my intention.
Yeah, you are now sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, but this is the button, by the way, we're talking about. That's the reason I pre-shared my screen. I didn't intentionally to share it already, but nevertheless.
I think a big part of it is like, well, not everything has been updated. Bram catches everything that's coming in, right? While there's still work to be done on the existing stuff, not much comes in that isn't fully ready for the accessibility. We catch that, review in the review cycle.
I think it's not only like the accessibility. I think it's way more like it used to be just a plus sign in the bottom here, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just create area or create automation or create script. I think it's way more friendlier and it's bigger, so it looks much cleaner somehow. Like the plus was missed by a lot of people when you start using when we introduce it or when you first start using it. It's like, okay, where can I add something? I think this is more obvious. Like it's more friendly and more call to action.
More friendly about what you're actually adding too. Because I mean, while you're on the area screen, just clicking the button, it's like I'm just clicking a button. I don't know exactly what it's doing, but now you are for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And the idea was always also to have some extra buttons show up. For example, if you would go to the devices listing and you would filter by the config entry, for example, for Zigbee, there would be a plus button to pair new devices for Zigbee, because we know you're in Zigbee kind of mode, and we can show you extra buttons to interact with that. But that's only in the mockups, so might come one day. The other cool update, I'm looking at the noteworthy changes right now. Just for people watching, like we don't really prepare this because we spend like 3 weeks on preparing a release itself, but everybody's working on their own little thing, and so sometimes it's easy to miss out with like all the changes are. So even for us, reading the release notes is like a surprise sometimes.
Yes.
All the time, not sometimes. I mean, we have so many projects, and everybody works on so many repositories, so I personally cannot track every change. So I read also the release notes because I miss some things.
Yeah,
it's just too much. That's simply put. There's too much happening. So
one cool change for Shelly, for people that use Shelly, is that we implemented their UDP broadcast of co-op status messages, which in normal language means that now on the local network, we will be notified instantly when something happens with your Shelly devices. So previously we would check every 5 seconds, like, yo, what's up? Is the light still on? Is the light still on? And now the moment the light turns on or turns off, we get notified right away. And this actually also allows us to integrate the other Shelly devices that are just momentary button based. So like the i3, where you have like 2 or 3 momentary buttons that you can long press, double press, all these things. We can unlock those now as well on Home Assistant. So that's been there's like 3 people working pretty hard on the Shelly integration and doing an amazing job.
They do.
Yeah.
Still have
It's
to
awesome to be able to get instant updates on anything.
I mean, instant updates and local is like a big
Yeah.
deal. I think it's I like it a lot. What other updates are there?
We got a new date picker, which looks really nice. Not,
Yes.
it used to be, just little text fields or number fields, which I think Thomas did a great job on that.
Yeah, it's cool that we can just like, go around, shop components from different frameworks and just plug it into Home Assistant and be like, wow, now we've got an epic date picker.
Yeah. Yeah. The custom elements are awesome.
Yeah, the date picker is cool. I've seen it today for the first time. I only noticed just now. I was like, let me open it up and show what we're talking about. I only noticed just now that it doesn't work on time. It only works on daytime. Is that correct?
Well, the component has been added to pick a date. We don't have a time picker component. But then to be fair, I don't like the material design time picker. Is like the one that's being used in Android, which is this weird as clock and like it jumps like, which is 2 circles in one another. I'm not a fan.
No. It's also for 24-hour. It doesn't work. It's really designed by someone that has AM PM times.
Hard to do both. It's hard to create an element that does both, though.
I mean, I think the best way to do a clock is just to, pretty much what the iPhone does, where it's like it's a big rotator and like it's just easy. It's predictable and instantly how it works.
Yeah.
But they have updated the material designs for time pickers. They also have a text input variant now without the clock.
Okay.
So that's way better, in my opinion.
Just waiting for them to build it out into the web components.
It'll take like a year.
Oh, that's going to take probably way longer than that.
Well, the design is just mobile for now, so
yeah,
they first have to make desktop designs before they will even implement it.
Oh, I only realized now that this is the release with color extractor in it. I thought we already released that like in previous releases.
No,
that's actually it is a really nice addition. It's for people that are watching and haven't used it yet, which is probably most of you. With the color extractor, you can pass in an image, and then we extract the dominant color from it, and then you can forward that to a light. So, for example, you can have a URL that we can fetch, or it's a path on your hard drive that we fetch and read out, and then we just check if it's which color it is. So, for example, if you have, if you would take Frank's picture, dominant color would be blue, and then you can put your light to blue. So I think the nicest idea would be, for example, you could color your room based on the album art, for example, of the album you're playing, or maybe if you have like a big screen showing artwork, you could have the lights around it like mimic or like complement what's on the screen.
I see a comment asking when we can specify the first day of the week in the calendar card. But Zach, I think you implemented that this release, right?
I implemented the ability, or I implemented the locale, so you can't choose the date of the first or the date of the week to be the first one, but it uses the locale in your settings to determine which day should be the first one.
Yeah. So if you set the language correctly, it should be at the correct first day of the week.
The location.
Right.
I think that was last release, actually.
Yes, and also added this release is like the number formatting in the UI, the front end. That will now also adjust based on the language you set. So in case you're having set to US English, like the comma separators for the thousands in numbers and stuff will adjust to the language you set. So if you're like living in the UK, you probably want to choose the UK language, the Great Britain language. What's it called? Like, I'm not sure. Sorry.
British English.
British English, indeed, because that will like adjust the comma separators or the number separators, the thousand separators correctly.
Yeah, and
that's something I didn't even know until I started with Home Assistant. The thousand, like the separators were different. Makes sense, but didn't know it.
You know, Zach, in Europe, the dates are also with dashes instead of slash, and then the month is the second and not the first.
I did know
which
that.
makes sense.
That one.
To have day, month, year, and not.
I agree that it makes sense.
Same like Celsius makes more sense, really.
Yeah,
well,
and meters makes
meters.
way more
all
sense.
of the metric stuff makes sense. I hate everything. You know, what was that system called? But
Imperial.
Imperial. Yeah.
Or freedom units.
Or as you call it, normal.
You know, like 8 washing machines tall.
I don't know how do you convert that shit from inches to feet to yards to that just sucks.
Inches, like there's 12 inches in a foot, and you know, 3 feet in a yard and stuff like that.
And then you have to go from inches to yards, and then
it sucks. It sucks.
It's like 1,200 in a mile or something.
Yeah.
What, feet or inches or what?
Yards.
Oh, I think there's 5,280 feet in a mile.
Oh yeah, that's way.
That's such a dumb one.
That's just easy to calculate with.
Yeah, you have to memorize.
It's way easier than it just 1,000.
Get off the American soapbox.
So another thing we changed in 1.18, and you don't really see it yet, is that we updated system health.
Oh right.
And that's my favorite of this release.
Can we show a screen? Does anyone have 1.18 running?
Yeah, I haven't. Hold on. I have already my screen share as well, so I'm picking up the health. There's nothing personal in here, right?
I don't think so.
Here we go.
Right. So new in this release is that we've revamped system health, or finished it, depending on like who you ask. So new is that we'll translate the labels on the left, so you can see what we actually what it means in the language that you speak. But if you copy it, it will actually be copied in English, so that if you post it in the bug report, we also know what it means. Then each integration could already submit extra information, but now we've actually added it to Home Assistant Cloud and to the HACS integration, which I guess we should call Supervisor. And it's now possible that integrations can provide longer running checks to the system health. So for example, if a task to test if the internet works for the supervisor can take up to 20 seconds, that data will show a spinner while it's loading, and then when we check that the internet exists, we will tell you, hey, the internet works, and this table will update live. So for example, in Home Assistant Cloud, you can see these 3 checks at the bottom. Can we reach the certificate server, the authentication server, and Home Assistant Cloud itself? So that's and then if anything is broken, and so for example, in Frank's case, he runs an unsupported installation. You can actually click on more info, and it will lead him to the supervisor panel where he can learn what is actually wrong with his current installation. And this will be able to be added to any error state of any check. So that should make it a lot easier for people to troubleshoot the issues that they're having. So instead of having people to come to the forums, and instead of people having to come to Discord, they go here, they'll see something is wrong, they click on more info, and hopefully there is more information that will help them to resolve their issue. And we only just started with this, so we only added these, but more integrations will be able to hook into this in the future.
There are already a couple of PRs open. Like I've opened one. I'm not sure if it will land in here, but something that checks if the API of Spotify is alive. So if you have the Spotify integration, for example, it could show in the system health, like my Spotify isn't working, what's wrong. It could show here that it has troubles connecting with the Spotify end of things, right? So that's what things we could add in here.
Or we can check if your local API access of your TP-Link switches still work, for example.
I think also for a supervisor, we can extend it because we start with a resolution center, and instead to log errors, we protocol these errors, and you can easily get a full picture of your instance, all what's happening during the start, during updates, and it gives you a full picture of what currently is going on, or where at least all the issues are or comes from.
So I'm running unsupported. I know that. There's some comments in the chat, which I actually need to fix, but I haven't given myself the time for. But it's a network thingy. I'm using this on a virtual machine, and my network is proficient, which is not like a supported method. It does work, but yeah, I should fix. Right. Hey, we had Paulus on stream, right?
No.
We lost.
I was actually using an unsupported method before that feature came into play, and then I used that unsupported, what was unsupported, and it told me everything. I used that to actually start using a supported method, which was really helpful.
Yeah.
Already got some use.
Well, the more info dialogues are in more places. Like if you would try to set up, I don't know, smart things, or well, Spotify is one of them, and there are a couple of integrations that do like those. After you go to the website of the vendor and you have to log in, and then that's how you like log into an integration. Like you need to have specific settings sometimes in your Home Assistant to make that work. And a lot of people struggled with that. So now if Home Assistant detects this is not good, it will give you what we call the more info page on how to fix that specific problem. And we have this for a lot of things added lately. And I think that is really helpful to guide people into like very specific problem things. Like you have the documentation, everybody could try and read it. But finding your specific issue can be really hard. And I think the more info dialogues and the more info pages that we recently start doing, I think that is really helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing is like you can go and Google your issue, but then you may try like 17 different things before you actually find what was your issue, and you just broke it even more, or all these other things. I mean, it could go all the way down. So it's definitely great not to have to go down a rabbit hole anymore.
Yeah, and then you have the forms, and then you search, and then we changed it a couple of times already. So you're looking at a year-old answer, right? So it's really nice to be able to guide people directly to the right answer. I think that's golden. And with the system health now, like and showing those things in there, I think that's nice. Definitely.
And
I think the one thing that we still need to add. So right now, we only show at an integration level. But for example, I was talking with the Shelly people, and they were like, well, every Shelly device is its own config entry because it can have each their own individual authentication. But they also want to add system health. But they cannot group all the devices in one card because each card needs their own, like, can we reach this device? What is the signal strength? These kind of things. So we're going to have to find a way to get config entry level system health without spamming this whole page and adding so much shit that it doesn't really matter anymore. So
that's so interesting, right? WLED surface. I think that I like WLED. Like, sorry, I just love that little piece of software for running LED strips. But somebody added like support for a service call to load up WLED presets. If you have configured, like, I don't know, a specific animation and color schemes and I don't know what. You can now call them up, load them up from Home Assistant. I think it's really cool that it came in before Christmas.
Right.
For the holiday season.
And then one other Christmas feature that we're going to add, also related to WLAD, is that there's a contribution open right now that will allow you to disable devices. And that way you can disable your WLAD devices, and maybe in the future we'll also add that you can temporarily disable config entries. And so you can, your Christmas LED strip, you could then just box it up. You don't have to uninstall it and remove everything and then reset up all your entities and stuff next year. You can just temporarily disable it in Home Assistant until you need it the next seasonal event where you need your LED strip.
That is cool.
So I still think that we should build in some like Christmas automations or just holiday season automations, like a fireworks, like flash all your lights automatically or something at midnight stuff. But I don't know. Like a what's it called again? Like a little hidden feature and hidden
Easter egg.
Easter egg. Yeah, that's the term. Sorry.
We should
Like a
have
little
it on
Easter
by
egg.
default.
Yeah, on by default, we not tell anybody, but like midnight on New Year's Eve, like all your lights will like make firework effects.
Let's not do that.
We're kind of fun though.
All of the support questions that come in the next day, like what the heck?
It's a holiday, 1 of January. So,
well, I know that like VLC player, they change their icon, right? They always get like a Christmas hat. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
kind
it's
of nice.
snow in the UI. You see all those websites with those snowflakes.
We can make it always snowing on Lovelace, no matter what. No way to turn it off.
Frontec.
Make it slowly build up, like until you don't see anything
That's
anymore.
Oh,
Konami code, somebody suggested in the chat.
Yes.
That would be cool. Like opening up some game that you can play with. That would be cool. Like a Philips Hue remote, you could play like a game in.
Oh, I like that.
In Office or something.
Or our watchdog, they monitor the Home Assistant instance if there's running. He make noise every time we check Home Assistant.
Tetris with Lovelace cards, with the U controller.
So hey, let's talk about the conference. Frank, do you have the schedule for us? So we put up an open call for speakers last month. We got a lot of submissions, 54, 56, something like this.
Yeah, something like that.
And we went through them all, and we came up with 3 tracks. We already had 3 tracks. So we're going to have 3 different tracks of speakers. We're going to have the everyone track. This is the most accessible track. But people that are just getting started with Home Assistant, people want to learn about Home Assistant, or people just interested in cool stuff that people want to do. And then we're going to have the advanced user track. This is people that are more experienced with Home Assistant, some YAML stuff, of course, and some more advanced usages. And then there's the developer track. And the developer track is half how to develop for Home Assistant, how to develop on like Home Assistant stuff, and half how to like develop new integrations, like reverse engineer protocols and these kind of things. And so we have the schedule is online. If you go to the website right now, you click on the Get a Ticket, you go to the Hopin website. If you scroll down, that's where the currently the schedule is. We are going to add it as well to the website, but it's pending. We had to do this release first. But we also have the schedule right now, and I thought maybe it would be cool if we go through it. And
I'm not sure how this works, by the way. If we click this, if it like we're still in the image, but we can pop it up. So should I try?
Yeah, do it. Nice.
Oh, we're gone.
But we're gone. But people
We're
can
good.
still hear us, I think.
Can still hear us. I hope so. Can you still hear us? That's a good question.
So I think, I realize now we should update the time on the left to be like the local time is representing. But so the time on the left is the relative starting time compared to the beginning of the event.
Yeah, so 0.00 is at 7 Central European time, 7 p.m.
GMT +1.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so we're going to start with first of all, this schedule is like, we might change it. Like as we're making the keynotes, which we're still needing to write, more or less, we might realize that we need more time. And so in that case, it will take longer. But the idea now is that the opening keynote is gonna be about looking back. So what we did in the last year. We're gonna talk about like, Home Assistant Core, Home Assistant OS, Home Assistant Companion Android, Home Assistant Companion iOS. Anything with Home Assistant in the name, we'll talk about pretty much. And get a small update of how everything is going. Then we're gonna have a little 5-minute break, and then the first talks are gonna start. So I'm not gonna go through all of the talks just because you guys girls can all read the schedule yourself. But I mean, there's gonna be some great talks. Some talks that I'm personally looking forward to is YAML Like a Pro with VS Code. This is by Case, who's also the original author of the VS Code Home Assistant extension.
He's in the chat now.
Oh, he's in the chat?
Yeah.
Hi, Case. I'm looking. It's gonna be. I already saw some previews on Twitter that he shared, and that's gonna be very cool. There's gonna be the other one I'm looking forward to is the how to use Home Assistant in a factory. So that's gonna be it's a brick factory in Bolivia that is using Home Assistant to automate things, which I think is really cool. And the other one that I'm looking forward to is the Saving Lives with Home Assistant. So there is for volunteer firefighters, there is a new integration coming. I'm in the process of reviewing it right now. And it pretty much has like push notifications of when like there's fire. And so then you can like automate your house and like, wake you up, turn on the lights, make sure that, you can as fast as possible get dressed and get to the fire station to leave to the fire. So I think that's really cool. Frank, are there any talks you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm the talks that are in. Like I'm curious about what Case is going to do with the YAML Like a Pro. It's mainly because I help out Case a bit with the extension, and I'm like just looking forward to what's going to happen there. But I'm familiar with it, but it's still I'm curious. I'm looking forward to the acceptance factors a bit. Like even though it's really not that technical, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm really not a fan of the general things like WAF. People say the WAF factors and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that talk personally. So that's a good one.
What happens if we're not able to watch all of them at the same time?
That's a good question because somebody else asked it as well. Could we rewatch the stream afterwards? Yes.
So the way it's going to be is that we're using Hopin as our conference platform, and just for the record, this is not Hopin. This is StreamYard.
Yeah.
It's also cool to use this for coordinating our keynote. But on Hopin, you have this thing that's like you get more the conference feeling. So there's like sessions where you can meet other participants. You can jump in video chats. You can talk to other participants. You have different tracks, and so on Hopin, there will be these 3 tracks, like I said, everyone, assigned user, and developer.
You're breaking up a bit. Your mic is breaking up a bit, so it's really hard to understand.
Sounds like you're in water.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not
okay, well, why don't you tell the story, Frank?
Okay. Well, let me try. So, we're going to do like a hop-in, which is the real conference experience. So the hop-in will have the main stage, and we'll have multiple rooms you can join. So the 3 tracks will be like next to each other, like the tracks we showed on the picture right here. For the main stage, the advanced user stage, and the dev stage. And these will be like you can hop around, like, hey, the name, what's in the name, right? The main stage will be broadcasted to YouTube. So the main stage will be you will be able to see it live on YouTube. That will be streamed for everybody for free to access. And hop-in, we're asking $1 for a ticket. So like, I think that's a reasonable price, and it's something that allows us to pay for the platform. It's simple as that, and be able to do this. And that gives you the real conference experience. You can walk around, you can chat with people. We have different sessions after the conference even. The podcast guys, actually, which is not on the list yet, for example, will be recording a podcast live after the conference. Like if all the talks are done, they will be sitting in a virtual room recording the podcast, and you can jump in and check that out and chat with them and those kinds of things. So that's really nice. All the sessions will be recorded by Hop-In. So we will be able to get those and put them on YouTube later on. So what we will going to do is upload them after the conference to YouTube and make them available for everybody. So if you're not able to watch them all, pick your favorites, watch those, and afterwards you will be able to look at the others. So the other thing from the schedule, which I think is like worth mentioning, we have the keynote, the opening keynote, which will be really interesting because we're looking back at past year on what we have done and what this year, what are the highlights of this year, the big things. A bit like the Siri, don't interrupt. Doesn't matter. So that will be the highlight, right? The highlight, the what we did last year, like this is the big thing. And then after all the talks are done, which I'm looking forward to, I'm not sure which ones to pickle, then we will have another keynote. And I think that's the keynote to watch out for.
Yeah, I think that's my most talk I'm most excited for is hearing Paulus and the rest of the Nabokasa devs talk about the future and the past and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about what's coming, and that's of course the most exciting part. Like, well, I know, but like, even though I know, I'm still curious to find out what you think, right? So that's it's exciting. I'm excited to be able to talk about all the things that we've been doing, and really looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to after the conference to be able to chat with people and to jump in those rooms. We're also going to do things like Q&As afterwards. So we have rooms where people are sitting. I think Zach is doing Q&A as well, right? Or from
I think I'm doing one of them.
Yeah.
Just being able to communicate a bit more and get a bit of that conference feeling, although we have like the Corona situation right now, but still being able to bring a bit of that into like the current day, I think that's cool. Like I enjoyed last year's, which were physical events with 100, 150 people, which was really cool to meet everybody. But I think this is kind of nice because it's accessible for everybody, and I'm
it was the first time that I was able to meet some persons in reality, instead all time behind the computer. This time not, but maybe next year, maybe not. I mean, with online we can reach out a lot more persons as if we go into a location.
How does Danny know this?
I don't know. HA phone. With 6G.
We make 5G operating system compatible for the Pine phone.
The Pine phone. Oh, that's good.
I was just reading some community update from them today.
The Pine phone. It could run Home Assistant.
Yeah, it actually could.
Yeah,
but it's
probably.
Is that modular, or what is it? I don't know what
it's
the Pine
not.
Phone is.
Yeah, you can actually replace the motherboard or like the main PCB. They have some upgrades, but it's mainly just runs Linux. So they have like I think they're gonna release like a Pine Phone together with the KDE Linux desktop environment. So with like Plasma Mobile.
So it's a bit like the Windows CE phones from back in the days.
Yeah. But I think one thing that's cool about the Pine Phone is it has physical switches. It has physical switches for camera, microphone, these kind of things. Hey, so I saw one question that we maybe need to clarify. So every session of all the talks, like every talk and of any track will come on YouTube afterwards. So you don't have to pay $1 to see it if you don't care about it not being live. If you want to wait like, well, however long it's going to take us, it's not going to take like years, right? It's going to take us like a week or two probably to get all the videos uploaded, metadata tagged and stuff. But so yeah, all the talks will become available online later as well.
Yeah, and besides that, it's for us as the conference is done. It's a relax time. Like that's the end of the year. The last release, like it's the 2 weeks, like now, well, off. I wouldn't say we're never off. We're all those type of nerds that will not be off. But still, it's the holiday season is coming, so will definitely be less activity.
Yeah,
family time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, in particular, I think Ludius is usually always available. I think he's always available until like 2 or 3 a.m. his time. So it's a little bit crazy.
There's no kids here.
That is helpful. Like sometimes that's helpful.
Not for sleep, but for the time.
Yeah, I miss my nights of just like, hacking till like 2, 3 a.m. and then just sleeping as long as I want. But
I still like do it from time to time, and then like next day in the morning, no, you regret it.
Right. Yes. Well, I've been getting really good at doing like afternoon naps, like just a small 30 minutes or an hour or something.
Those are nice.
Really helps.
Yeah. Those are nice. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Ludius doesn't have a rhythm. It's just
it's random.
So let's see, what else do we have going on? Like we had a conference, we had release notes. Is there something we missed in the questions? We didn't do many questions, right? So do any of you have like the guys watching or the girls, anybody of you have like questions for one of us, like or about the release or the conference or I don't know?
Yeah.
Now should your time to shine.
In the meanwhile, there's already the conference has already sold 563 tickets.
Really?
So, yeah, which is really good. So last year we had I think 150 people attending and then 600 people watching at the live stream.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much already like almost 4 times as much as we had capacity last year. So that's pretty awesome. And I mean, we only really posted online now, right? With the release notes is when we really have been like promoting it. So
I think it's cool. I think we're that the conference is something new. It's excited. I'm excited. It's a bit scary. Like it's new and like how does this all work and will it work? But yeah, I think it's a cool thing to do for everybody. For us as well. It is exhausting to do, but like it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
actually.
And one thing we're doing with the conference is that we looked at like some other online conferences, looked at what people were doing, and some conferences just have all these pre-recorded videos where it's like as if it's like a like a TV show you're watching. And we have decided that we don't want to do any pre-recorded. So everything's going to be live, including all the bloopers and all the like mistakes and whatever. It's just going to be, raw and uncut. Which
This
also
is real.
We can cut it like from a video.
I mean, sometimes I feel like it's harder to do a pre-recorded, or at least for like as a speaker, right? Well, it's one thing and one thing, right? But you just keep having to do iterations, right? You do it once, and you're like, that wasn't good enough. I can do it better. You just stress yourself out more like that than just doing. Right? That's just my take. But.
Yeah, that's why also this is so unstructured, right? That's just we're done. You do it for 2 hours, and then there's no longer like having to watch it 5 times or 6 times to like get all and ahs out.
I saw a good question here. I've seen it now a couple of times, and since we have Lydia's here, upgrade to 118 failed, like HACS failed.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
That's a statement. Well, it's a good thing to say. Like, if everybody watching, and if you see that question pop up by somebody, like, it is fixable, but ideally you should update your HACS before upgrading Home Assistant. That's the easiest path. Or else run the installer of HACS again on the command line, I think, and then it should be fixed as well. But the update for HACS has been released 2 weeks ago, supporting this release. So you're 2 weeks behind.
Great.
Yeah.
Another great statement.
I'm just repeating the words Joachim said to me today. Right. ING was awesome. ING was awesome.
A good question. What have you guys added to your own Home Assistant instances recently that's fun or exciting or new?
That's easy. At least for me. The Xbox integration. I love that. That's really nice. I can turn on Sat2 or Netflix from mount tablet. That's amazing. And I was able to make a special card in my dashboard with the buttons. Copy paste from documentation, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice touch. That there's just a ready-to-make Lovelace card in documentation you can just pull in with like a picture of like the Xbox controller and like all the buttons linked up. I mean, that's something really that we talked about this at the start of Lovelace, like 2 years ago. That this is something where we've been like, it would be cool if integrations, they know best how the entity should be represented on the dashboard. So why not have the integrations suggested? But then we never did.
We kind of did,
but
not really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just too many things to do, but it's still a good idea, I think.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that at that point in time, you're working with both the integration dev and a front end dev. I mean, you don't have to, but it is a little bit back and forth to make sure it's the correct way, it's the best way for the user and stuff.
Right.
How many of you devs? Oh, I like this one. It's a bit of the same question, but how many of you devs use a custom card or custom integration? And I would like to add to it, which one? What's your favorite?
What's your definition of use?
Install.
Like actually enjoy it. Let's like.
As a front end core dev for the Lovelace team, I don't use anything custom there. If it's not there and I think it's worth it, then I'll just add it. But I don't use any
that's why we
cards.
shoot it down.
Yeah. Most of the time they're all good ideas. I only come up with good ideas.
I do use mini graph card.
Yes, I agree. That's a good one.
Mini graph card is nice.
I think we need to add some of those features in. I think we've talked about it, but
Oh,
Yeah,
that
the mini
reminds
graph
me.
card is
I made a custom card this week.
Yeah,
I made
They can't use.
No, you can't use it. Like it's only for like demo purposes. I don't know, but it is a good idea. So I
It's cool to
saw.
show.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it. No, so I follow like a bunch of like web developers on Twitter, and I saw this one developer who was really into like SVGs and like animations, create this like light with like a cord, and you could like toggle the light by pulling the cord. And I thought, well, that's cool. So then what I did is that I just took that animation and I hooked it into Home Assistant as a custom card. So I'm gonna see if I can get it running now.
I'm really bad in use custom stuff. I saw a nice card, and I read the documentation and saw, oh no, I don't have time for that.
I like the button
I never
card
used
as well, by the way.
Yeah.
The custom.
The custom button card, yeah. There's some like really nice features in there. Although Home Assistant is like catching up.
It has a lot of features, right?
It has a lot of features.
A lot of those cards have
too many
It's
features.
it's like the custom header, right? One of the biggest reasons why it was finally just deprecated was it was just getting too hard to maintain it. That's what all those options get you, is unable to maintain it.
That's the reason for us in core to keep things simple at times, right?
Yep.
Like just to clarify on that, like we could add everything that's thrown at us. We could do that. There's some really awesome stuff there. But if we keep adding like maintenance, and we keep adding things that can break, and like, things that we add should be like well decided on or testable, or depends a bit on where, but yeah. You should give an extra thought. Yeah. I also like by the way, the vacuum card. You guys, seen that one?
Yeah, I was always wanting to build that one, but it's just such a hard card to build for a core. Dude.
That's true.
But I like that. I like the custom one.
Hey, why is it when we share a screen, it's like instantly on the screen?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's weird.
I wonder. I think it's because of the preset we're currently having. Like we have the preset that has show a shared screen. I think if we should click away to like another one, otherwise when you share a screen, it will be instantly the one. Anyway, this is a custom card. Look, it's a light bulb, and then you can. Oh, awkward. Oh yeah, like you can just like go around, drag, and then it will like follow your mouse when you drag, and when you let it go, you'll change the light, and as you can see on the right, the kitchen light will turn on and off. And you can turn it off and on. Actually, if people pay a lot of attention, they can see that the light is not lighting up when it's on because it's not actually a light. I use an automation, but for the demo, I made it look like a light. So. Yeah, this is just something I like hacked together. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, that'd be cool, fun to have. So it's the problem is that it uses a It uses a plugin for like a JavaScript animation framework that is in you can only run it locally. You cannot run it in your Home Assistant instance.
So we have to redo it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, these kind of things are fun, but they're not really useful.
Yep.
But they get you a lot of likes on Twitter. Yeah.
Just have Home Assistant retweet it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's cheating maybe, but yeah.
So, have you guys we're talking about like different weird things? I received my NFC tag readers.
Nice.
Look, Ron has one too. That's something I need to do something with at this point. So, like, I have to. I bought them from Madonna because I think it's really cool.
Mine is not hooked up as well.
Yeah, that's the issue, right? We haven't hooked it up. So I've hooked up one. One is configured. And I'm thinking about what to do with them, right? Like, really
Yeah,
cool applications for it.
I'm waiting for the community to build something awesome up with these because I bought a lot of these tags and I have nothing to do with them. So come on.
How many do you
get to
have?
this. Too many.
Maybe even like make a door entrance
Well,
security system for a company or something.
It's cheap, so I mean, I just bought them all.
I started with the printer to print some cards.
Well,
No,
that's what I use it for, right? I have the cards to play songs, so the children can be playing songs. But I see people using it for chores with their kids, for example.
All right.
But you have to have kids to use these. Got it.
Check.
Yeah, done.
I think there are some cool stuff that's out there already, but just I like seeing the keep coming in.
Yeah, I think one of the other
if Frank ever gets his community highlights going as well, hopefully they'll appear in there.
Yeah. So we get this question: is it safe for door access? Yes. Well, I mean the card can be copied, right? Because you can read it, and then like a key can be copied. But the tag reader communicates it directly to Home Assistant. So if somebody finds your card, they can enter your house. If somebody can, in James Bond style, they can copy the cards, right? Then that's possible too.
They could, if they could access the device, they could extract the firmware and access your Home Assistant. We're talking James Bond style now. Come on.
Oh, okay. But sure. But if you're in front of that door and you're having your laptop and stuff, you might as well just open the door and click it in or something.
The cards they are used for locks are normally encrypted, so these cards are not encrypted. So everybody with equipment can read the cards, copy it from remote, and enter the door.
So just in case somebody's watching and you're a professional robber or something, this is your daytime job, and you ever come across these, take a brick from the street and throw it through the window, because that's way easier, probably. But that's the thing, right? We can put out all kinds of locks and stuff on everywhere and worry about these things, but in the end, you pick up a rock and there you go.
Yeah,
but don't do it.
But don't do it. No.
Well, actually, for these, they use the ID of the card, and you need special cards to be able to override that ID. Normal cards.
Then you're running old firmware. Because Jesse Rocks, who's been developing the firmware for this, has just updated the firmware that if you write a NDEF value to your card, it will use the NDEF value, which means a URL that you can just write with the Home Assistant app.
Okay, I did not try that because
300 people watching now are going NDEF? Wait, what?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, NDEF is a
just use the Home Assistant companion app.
Right, but it's a data format on how you store data on NFC cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it.
I really have to think about something to do with it, something interesting. I was thinking about a music box, but that's a bit like the what's the cards from the music box cards, the music cards. What was the project called? The magic cards, right? But then something similar with just sounds with animals or something for the little guy. I think that's really cool. I think that would be a really cool use case, just to see him playing with sounds and audio. That would be the easiest one, I guess.
Okay, my video is really bad right now.
You can actually apparently update. You guys have done this.
I think the autofocus is the problem.
On my camera? I don't have autofocus. I need to manually focus.
I use my face detection for autofocus. Can move around.
So Donnie has another good question. Is there sensitive data stored in NDEV? I mean, it's an identifier. It's just a random number. So yes, I guess, because that random number will trigger something. But
I mean, every car today have a keyless, or most new cars have a keyless system, which have almost the same issue. They can also be copied, and they will be copied. So they don't use stones today. They really copy keyless cars, key and break out the car with them.
Where to buy the tag box? That's a good question. It's they're not like for sale right now, I think.
no, they're not.
But they're made by.
You can't.
But they're made by Adorno, and I think he will. If I'm not sure if he starts selling them again. If he, he's still processing the orders that he received at the point where it was released. But if you look for Adorno, then you can find them and you can watch them. You can also print them yourself. He has published the print files. So if you have a 3D printer, you could print them yourself and buy the parts and then make your own if you're up to that. That's still possible.
I wait for my 3D printer.
You already made space. That's cute.
Yeah. In 2 weeks.
Hey, so I just got a message from Adorno that NDEV reading is not a master yet. So right now, scanning a NFC card on a tag reader will send in the tag ID and not the NDEV value that is stored on it. This has the bonus that you can have a card do something else if you scan it with your phone and if you scan it with a tag reader. And it has a downside that it does different things, right? So it will be, there is a firmware update coming, and you can then also over the air update your existing tag readers.
Nice. All right. Yep.
And bye.
Okay.
Time to take over.
I know he does that sometimes at meetings, drop off, but this is just like oh, there he is again.
Don't allow him back in.
Oh, sorry. Too late.
Okay, my Chrome just went to the previous tab. I know what's going on.
All right. So do we have anything left? We're now streaming for an hour and a half.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Well, everybody got a good look at Ludius now. He's no longer the
mysterious
guy.
one.
The mysterious one. Yeah. You lost
First
that.
time. I heard Paulus hadn't even seen him, or he was part of. He's very rarely on video.
Yes.
Great.
Things can change.
Yep. So do we have anything left for the stream? We're now an hour and a half on the way. Do we have anything to add, any questions? There's some thank yous. Thank you. Yeah. You're welcome. I'm going to push the 118 button. You should. Do it. Yeah. Pascal, take the example. Do it.
Press.
Do you like cats or dogs? It's cats, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I'm also more a cats person.
Oh no, I love dogs. I hate cats in my garden.
Isabella spotted Ludius. She's completely over.
I think just overall, excited for this release, but also excited for the next release that coincides with the conference. I think some cool stuff could come out of that. Some good surprises and stuff like that.
Don't tell Zach.
Excited for. I'm not gonna say anything.
Stop talking.
I didn't say that. I said I think a lot of stuff could
Cut him
come
off.
of it.
Cut him off.
I don't know anything, so
Mute
I'm
him.
saying I think a lot of stuff could come from it.
Okay.
Thank you, Zach, for joining. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Oh man, this is unreal.
It's not drag and drop. It's not drag and drop.
Yeah, how's the drag and drop going? Like, you're now here, right? You've been experimenting with that. Some people know that. Like,
Yeah. So I think it's getting there. It's almost ready to be put out into a alpha, pre-alpha, pre-alpha stage. So Brahm and I have been working on like kind of getting that to a point where we think is good for all of our cards. It's good for the usability of it. It's good for new users, already existing users. But there is a lot that's involved before it actually gets to a state where we're like in the release notes. Here's the grid. It's ready to go. Drag and drops here, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks.
And this is my third iteration of trying. So I've tried two different libraries before just creating my own. So yeah, it's been a long time. I think 2 years ago was when we actually started talking about it. So.
Yeah, it's crazy that you just created your own library to do drag and drop and resizing. It's really
hopefully it doesn't break, because then I have to blame myself.
we're all looking forward to that one, though.
Yep.
I can just shout upstream problem.
It's also scary to be the code owner of that stuff. So.
A lot of people are shouting 1.0, but like Paul has promised that like for 2 years or something. I'm not hopeful.
I think the last time I said something about it, it was at the State of the Union last year, and I said in the first half of 2020. But
still,
to be fair, the pandemic happened, and so that's definitely the reason that it didn't happen.
Yeah, sure.
Way too many PRs came in.
You just need hide 1.0 and hide the other part, and it's version 1.
Yeah, but like the problem is like nobody can say like this is 1.0, right? Because it's never finished. It's never going to be finished.
It's a number,
right? It's just it's always being worked on. Always going to get better.
It has been a while since the OZW beta was in the topic of the release notes. Any news worth mentioning? There's some news there, right?
On the conference, yeah.
No, but
true. That's
it's progressing nicely.
Yeah.
So
there's the like I'm using it. I'm actually enjoying it like a lot, to be honest.
Yeah. It's been stable for me.
Yep.
Z-Wave scares me. So
really?
Yeah, I just have Zigbee right now. I think I have one thing that's Z-Wave.
Well, then you have like no coverage at all and probably issues.
Like, I don't use Wi-Fi
unless it's really. Oh yeah, but Zigbee doesn't like
right
influence that.
Yeah. I don't use Wi-Fi devices. I just don't use that many devices. But the Z-Wave thing, I think it's like right next to my my unit. So I have like the hub or the HUSZB, whatever that thing's called, -1 dongle that does both.
Oh yeah, I got that one too. But I also don't have Z-Wave connected.
Do you Z-Wave, Frank?
Yes, quite a bit.
Do you
actually,
do you want my repeater? I replaced Z-Wave, so I don't have any more Z-Waves. I have a small plug, like a repeater, a range extender for Z-Wave.
I use a couple of wall plugs, just simple plugs, wall plugs for Z-Wave. There's nothing plugged into it. Well, actually, that's not true. There's a Zigbee repeater plugged into those. But those are I placed on each floor in a non visible location. There's a Z-Wave plug, wall plug, and an IKEA Zigbee repeater plugged into it, hidden on each floor of the house. So that takes care of repeating in my home for both Z-Wave and Zigbee.
But I mean, that's a trick to these mesh networks, just to have a plugged in device on every floor, and you're probably fine.
Yeah, and especially for Zigbee and both Zigbee and Z-Wave, by the way, if you do something like this I did here, it doesn't matter what happens to all the others. There's this is the stable factor in my network, right? These devices are just plugged in and have power and do work and are placed at strategic positions in my home. And all there are other things around I can mess with and play with or move around. It's not that big of a deal then. Booting from SSD for a Pi 4. That's asked a lot, by the way. I've seen that a couple of times.
I've never heard of that question before. Is it something new?
Well, why would you want to do that?
Boot from an SSD on a Pi 4?
Yeah.
I prefer SD cards.
Yeah. So simple, plug it in and go.
Yeah. The Pi 4 could actually do it, and you could also, if you use HACS, you could do data offloading as well as an alternative.
Yeah. The next release, we talk a bit on the conference about that, but it's supported on release 5, but not recommended, and why is not recommended? I think we have a talk about it on the conference. We have a better solution as a SSD boot.
Yep, I think so too.
It also doesn't look nice. When I started out with a home server, I initially started with I don't remember, something like a Raspberry Pi, and then I was I need a big hard drive connected to it, so I had an external hard drive. And then all of a sudden, you have one small device, and then you have 2 big hard drives. Each needs all their own power plugs. And I don't know. Now I just have a Core i5 mini tower, which takes up more space, to be fair, but it's just tucked away.
Yeah.
So you're running supervised?
No. Oh, the Home Assistant runs on a different device. No, I used to run just a Docker container on Unraid for the longest time, but now I just want my add-ons. VS Code, it's very nice.
Yeah,
I love that add-on. And
I need to update it. Yeah, AdGuard is also pretty nice to run indeed from your home network, but you have to know what you're doing. That's the thing. It's not an install and go thingy. People unfortunately. All right.
I think before we wrap up, one last time is that we're having a conference in a month from now. So if you haven't yet, I would definitely recommend to get a ticket so that you can watch all the 3 tracks and just choose whatever you want to watch. If you tickets are $1, it's literally just to cover the cost of the platform. If you don't want to spend the $1, that's also possible. We'll be live streaming the Everyone track on YouTube, including all the keynotes. But the conference will have the 2 extra tracks, and we'll have extra sessions after the talks where people can hang out and you can meet Q&A with Lovelace developers. There's template office hours. I think we're going to have the Home Assistant podcast will record a session and some other stuff. So definitely recommend to buy a ticket. So that will be in a month from now, which also means that there won't be a release party next time because we'll have a whole conference, which means that there's, instead of now where we almost have 2 hours, we're going to have 4 hours, 5 hours of content. And a lot more different people.
Ever.
I mean, it's going to be over 20 different speakers total, so it's going to be exciting.
A lot of faces.
Also, I mean, just the sessions in general are super exciting to be able to talk to different people and openly and stuff like that, which is nice.
Yep.
Also, where's the after party?
On Discord.
On Discord, yeah,
have
sure.
A lounge hangout thing.
Yeah, there's a launch on the Hopin platform, and yeah, we have the conference channel already on Discord. So if you have additional questions, like it's always fun on Discord. Just hop on the Discord server, and like the conference channel will be there, and I expect it to be probably it will be used during the conference as well. Like I think people will gather there.
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
Yeah, we could yeah.
So some people are complaining about the chat right now that we're not reading it. Actually, we do. We all do. Yeah, a lot. So, yeah.
Can't answer every question.
We cannot answer every question. That's true. That's true.
I'm excited for everything.
It has been an exciting year, to be honest.
It has.
It has been a wild ride.
Corona. Home Assistant's been that like light in Corona, so it's been nice.
And the year we closed with a great conference with some really cool news.
They'll kick you out if you say too much.
No, but it has been a crazy year. Like the whole Corona thing. Like we had so many contributions, and people are actually probably using Home Assistant more even as well, because they're more at home and putting it to use for other things like office lightings and all other things. I guess, I don't know, but it has been like one hell of a ride this year, and we have a lot to talk about.
This year more than ever, just because of the that what the heck month. I mean, that was super cool. The first time we ever did that. I mean,
yeah,
we've already talked about it, but I mean, this year just made everything awesome, because what the heck led into Oktoberfest. And Oktoberfest was awesome as well, or Hacktoberfest, not Oktoberfest. Beer on the mind.
Yeah, we keep coming up with ideas to make ourselves super busy and swamp and work.
Yeah. Well, you guys aren't busy, so you don't do much.
No. Paul even takes a nap in the afternoon. We just learned. So.
Yeah. I will. Before we leave, I will share my because we're talking about how busy we are. I know if you. This is called Pool Panda. That keeps track of how busy we actually are and shows it in a graph. So that'll as a closing. We're like, why are we always so tired? No, this is the last 12 weeks. So in the last 12 weeks across the whole Home Assistant organization, we have merged 4,400 PRs, and so you can see on certain weeks. Where obviously more gets opened and that gets merged, which is not good. This week has actually been pretty good. This one is low because it's the current week. But as you can see, we are consistently getting more contributions than we actually can handle. So I saw some questions about where is this integration, when is this coming? A lot of it is actually in the queue, but so is a lot of other things.
So to compare it a bit with how things looked last year or a couple of years ago, like I think with last year, it's almost 3 or 4 times the workload compared to the year before it. So it's actually like we're doing 3 times as much, or maybe even more, like in contributions. Like people are trying to add to Home Assistant, and like that's just like. It didn't stop since like really Hacktoberfest started last year, and then like it's always a busy season after Hacktoberfest until the new year, and then the Corona started, so the contributions stayed on a level where we normally run our asses off, and it didn't stop up until now. So like we're still in like an Hacktoberfest mode of last year somehow.
I think it's pretty crazy how much Home Assistant has grown, and even Navukasa having more employees now, which is awesome. The Reddit community and Home Assistant, it's up to 93.3K members.
Wow.
Crazy.
Oh, that's a good one, Zach. It would be really cool if when we are at the conference a month from now, that we are at 100K subscribers to our subreddit, right? So
are you plugging the subreddit now?
Definitely. I'm adding
I think
it right now.
in this live stream or anything like that, we should put some information about the conference and the Reddit and stuff like that in the description for people watching it afterwards.
Yeah.
So we only need 6,700 extra subscribers to hit the 100K mark. So.
And people use it every day. So.
And also the Reddit community, Reddit has sometimes a bad name about like having bad communities. This is actually nice people.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like the normal Reddit subreddit burning stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will lose soon my connections, my camera link, the battery. Good.
Well, I think that's a nice cue on wrapping it up then.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for watching. And we'll see you next month on December 13 at the Home Assistant Conference, where everybody that's on the screen will be speaking, except for Ludius, who will be behind the scenes doing his magic. So.
Sounds good.
Also, please let us know what you all think of this. Like, is us like just kind of like, talking about all this stuff unorganized, something that's great? Should we get more organized? Are there certain topics that we should like reiterate? Are there like, besides the release notes, is this like, is this useful, or is it just entertainment or anything? Should we invite special people? We actually want to do it today, but I kind of messed up and only got Zach in. Sorry about that. But yes, so let us know in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe.
Hit that like button. Ring that bell.
Hit the bell.
Yeah.
And the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Click the bell over there. And then,
You're really good at it. You're a natural.
Yeah. I should start a streaming career, like besides my current career. All right.
Sure.
Well,
still looking forward to the first stream, seeing your coding. Sure.
Who's going to press the end broadcast button?
Yeah. See you later, guys.
Director.
Yeah.
Bye.